dissolution or lack that comes from you being you, you find your gifted area and you begin to share it, knowing that as you're sharing this cosmic energy, it's not taking away from anyone. You find your place in this world. You find your place in this world that your mind has trained you to see, while you're beginning to see the other world. You're beginning to see what the future self sees. You're beginning to see the next stage of human evolution. And so, condensate, let me just say this, that in the quantum reality, well, the Newtonian reality, there's a statement that says two things cannot occupy the same space and time. It's an impossibility. But in quantum reality, they can, because they're vibrating on different frequencies and in different dimensions. So you can have two things in the same space at the same time, but at different frequencies. So what happens is, you do your work, and you start to see the world as it appears to be. At the same time, you start to see the world that God sees. Same time, same space. But you're seeing the real world, new heaven and new earth, while you're walking through the transitory world, and your frequency is lifting the physicality of the old world into a higher frequency. You're not getting rid of it. It's being lifted by your vibration into the new heaven and the new earth. So that as tens of hundreds and thousands of individuals start to become still enough and prayerful enough and meditative enough and celebratory enough and are allowing the sacred chant, the sacred dance, not to rush, the sacred dance, the sacred prayer to take over their life. They walk and talk from the truth. And the lessons that are learned happen more gracefully rather than in difficulty. Hear this again. Everyone has to learn lessons. Everyone is available for greater blessings. Only thing you're determining is whether they're going to happen with difficulty or whether they're going to happen with grace. Yes. Entry into the graceful way is to not add the ingredient of fear, hate, separation. Even when we're working in the world and there are forces of negativity, forces of misogyny, forces of racism, forces of bigotry in the world, even with that, we're rising and doing what we're called to do. But in a field of a dynamic love that's more powerful than any force in creation, the field of infinite peace, more powerful than any transitory thought form. Yeah. So now you can stand. And on an individual level, you can say, I'm standing in truth and I see truth. On an individual level, you can begin to dissolve the fear or take it with you as it transmutes itself into excitement and enthusiasm as you're keeping an eye on it. You're keeping an eye on it. I see your fear. Mm-hmm. You think you're just going to take over? Oh, no. I got an eye on you. And the fact that I'm watching you means you're already transmuting because I'm aware of you, and my awareness is speeding up the frequency and the vibration. So now I'm walking in the world. I'm seeing the two worlds. I'm vibrating at the higher world. The other world starts to lift its vibration. It can't help it. Remember, I've been using the phrase spiritual radioactive. You can't close the door and keep radioactivity away from you. The same way spiritually. No one can close anything against the spiritual radioactivity of a dynamic peace and the love and the creativity and the joy that's emanating from your being. As Dr. Thurman likes to remind us, it will get through their head and heart and eventually touch that place within them that vibrates at the higher frequency. Beginning with you first. So let me break it down for you. There's the future self. That's the metaphor we're using this month. Past, the present, and the future are happening simultaneously. You expand your awareness, and you see the past and the present and the future all happening right now. The future self, the self of the absolute, the self that's untouched by time, it wants to bloom in you. It wants to be conscious of its own life as your life. You see, you're giving permission for that to occur as you enter into spiritual technology, prayer, meditation, a conscious celebration, chant, dance consciously. You're entering into the raising of the vibration. And then you begin to remember that you chose to be here, you chose gifts that you were going to actualize, and you chose lessons you were going to learn. And then you get to choose grace, difficulty. Grace, difficulty. I'm choosing grace. I'm dissolving the fear and the worry. I find my mind going back to the lie that the fear is telling me. I keep my eye on it. Through the spiritual observation effect, everything I observe changes on the subatomic level because I'm looking at it, but I'm looking at it with the awareness that I'm one with God. And so everything speeds up. I'm trying to give you something here. I'm trying to give you an awareness that you're not a victim to circumstance. You're not a victim to time. You're not a victim to situations. You're not a victim to anything. You have a victorious, triumphant spirit, and it is seeking to come into its own as you, so that you're identifying yourself as a timeless being while you're walking through time. Not just identifying yourself with experience, but now identifying yourself with the timeless. I am what thou art what I am. Before Abraham was, I am. You're standing in awareness of this absolute sacred truth. I am that. I am. I am. And all the places that can't hold that frequency starts to unravel. And it'll make you a little nervous. It'll make you a little, oh, what's happening? I'm going crazy. I'm melting. But what's melting is that which has been formed by time and experience. And that which remains is that which is eternal. And the creativity and the generosity, the compassion, the kindness, the love, the joy starts to flow through you